Got a new toy that just showed up. Just a rental, I didn't buy it, but I rented it for the month. Kind of want to test a bunch of these out and just see which one's going to be the best for my needs. But there will be one of these in my near future. Got my skid steer hooked up to the soil conditioner. So we are kind of leveling out this really bad patch of my land. I don't know if you can see that up close, but basically it gets kind of these patches and then it gets clumpy, and then trying to mow it is, man, it breaks my back every time I mow it. So I'm trying to use the soil conditioner to see if I can get this leveled out, and so far it's doing an awesome job. I even worked on my road a little bit over there and it's doing awesome. So I do have to hook up the hydraulic tilt back and forth. I don't have that hooked up just yet, but this thing's pretty cool. So here's what it does. It's got those carbide tips on it. Looks like a little rototiller, and I can reverse it. I can go the other way. It's pretty neat. And that's what it does to the ground. Kind of just like a rototiller, just chunks it up and gets it level. All right, guys, I got the soil conditioner or Harley rake or speed rake, whatever you want to call it, hooked up to the machine. The only thing I don't have working at the moment is my hydraulic tilt, because there is a remote that comes with that little solenoid, and I just don't have it powered yet. But I thought I had it worked out a little bit ago using the cigarette lighter in there, but it didn't quite work. So I'm gonna have to kind of work that out. But so I've done 2 or 3 passes on this little road that I have on the side of my house. And check this out. I mean, I really am in shock at how well this machine does. It's not the best. I mean, I'm still working on it. Don't get me wrong. Sorry about the wind. It's just got really windy. But what's really neat is, I don't know if you can see this, I've got a little peak right here. And it's just, you know, I can't do anything with it with my Bobcat box blade on my tractor and all that good stuff. I've never been able to get rid of this little peak right here. And what ends up happening is all the water spills down into that little low area right there. And then as it just kind of gains cubic volume as it's going down there, because it can't just kind of diffuse right here, it goes right there, I start losing. It basically digs a channel. You can kind of tell where it's at all the way down, and then I end up losing a lot of my material down into the street. Well, first and foremost, this thing is doing exactly what I expected it to do. It's basically just churning up the substrate underneath. So I've laid gravel. This is asphalt millings. I've laid all kinds of stuff. And instead of having to bring in new material, it's just bringing, kind of, the best way to say this is like the old stuff to the surface, and then allowing me to kind of spread it around a little bit. But I would say the coolest thing, well, this thing's pretty cool in general. But the coolest thing is right here in Oklahoma, we have all this stuff called sandstone or sand rock or whatever. It's basically this. You can see that right there. So you get this really hard sandstone that's actually embedded into the dirt, and then these are just big chunks of it. Well, right here on this little peak, as you came up off this drive, there was a huge thing just like this of sandstone. And this thing just pulverized it. I mean, you can see it turned it into like little chunks. And I had to go over it 2 or 3 times, had some roots in there, and it got those out there. But I was able to basically just pulverize that sandstone and actually turn it into substrate. So this has always had kind of like a little peak to it that I've never been able to get with my box blade, or even the skid steer, you know, bucket wouldn't break it up a lot. This stuff just went straight through it and turned it all into this. I mean, look at that. So it turned it into substrate for me to use on my road. I'm really impressed with this thing. Plus, like I said, it tore up all those roots. And then you can see how good of a job it does. I'll turn around here. So that's down to my entrance. This was all grown in with grass. Got that all taken care of, so that'll all die out. And it's so much smoother now. Now my biggest issue is trying to get water flow and trying to divert the water flow to where it doesn't just create one channel and end up washing all this substrate down into the road. But with this thing and what it can do right here to the rock, I've been able to take out high points and then fill in low points. I mean, I'm just really, really impressed with this machine and what it can do, especially without having to bring in any more material. I mean, this is pretty amazing to me. And, you know, I'm a newbie at doing this. It's taken me some, you know, time to kind of figure all this out, but it's done an outstanding job on the overall presentation of the road and how it looks, how level it is. And then I'm using it on my yard too, up here at the top, in the fact that I get this kind of clumpiness. I'll have dirt and then these wild grasses. Kind of see it over here. You can see all these little bare spots of dirt, and then I get these clumps. So like there's a clump and there's a clump. And essentially my entire field is this kind of clump, just clump, 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 you know, after the other. And when you're mowing this, I'm telling you, it about breaks your back unless you go slow. You can kind of see it right there a little bit. I mean, it's kind of hard to tell from this camera, but you know, you can kind of see how I get the clumpiness right there. And each one of those clumps are, you know, half an inch or an inch off the dirt beside it. And just mowing is terrible. So what I started to do was come back in here, and here's a low spot that it's filled in really well. And I'm actually just going in my field, you know, and just kind of creating a little road here. And it's doing a great job. I mean, what I'm excited about is tomorrow and, well, tonight and tomorrow I'm supposed to get a lot of rain. So I kind of want to see how this kind of just sets in after the rain. And then I'm going to bring my mower out here once it dries out and go over this section versus this section. And I can almost bet already it's just going to make a world of difference. Plus it kind of pulverized that really hard top layer. Here's a better look over here of what I'm talking about. So I get this kind of hard, crusty layer on the top here. Very, very hard, this clay, red clay. And then you kind of get these little clumpiness things going on, or you get clover or something like that. And seed, nothing will grow here. I mean, it just won't happen. And I've seeded it, I've done all kinds of stuff, and it just will not take off. Well, now I've got a proper seed bed that kind of everything is a little bit more loose and less compacted. I'm really curious to see kind of what this whole strip is going to do as far as grass growth. So I'm going to kind of follow up it a little bit later, maybe a month from now, and let's just see what happens. We're in August right now, the end of August, so we've got a little bit of growing season left. I'm kind of curious to see what's exactly going to happen. That's why I'm just doing this one little swath right here, and we'll just see how it goes. So far so good, guys, on the soil conditioner. I'm absolutely very happy with this purchase, and I think it's going to be a great tool to put into my arsenal just to help people on construction projects and things like that, start doing driveways. I think this is a really neat tool. So here's a better look at it. Basically, you just got this drum underneath here that's got carbide teeth on it. And what's cool is it's bi-directional, so it goes either way. And then I was able to finally get these wheels turned around today. They were for storage or for shipping. They were turned around back, and that was kind of a mess trying to get that done. But once I got it on the front here, it's so much easier to kind of set how deep you want to go with your drum and go along really smoothly. But look at those rows. It just creates this nice little substrate base. Well, I had my first casualty. You can see the little dust guard slash whatever. It got a little bit bent up. Mainly, see these straps right there? They're just not strong enough, and you know, they actually broke off. And you can see one broke right there. So, not really sure how important that is. Kind of half tempted just to take it off. But I don't know. Maybe I'll try to fix it and put some better metal on there and weld it up better. But it's just hanging on by these real thin little tabs from this frame, and one of them broke, and then it was spinning, and like I said, it got some catastrophe going on. But I don't know, I may fix it. Hank, what do you think? Hey, you think we should fix it? Yeah, maybe. Okay, we're gonna try to fix it first and then see how that goes. But guys, overall, as I said, I love this thing. I think it's awesome. It's so handy. It'll come in handy in a lot of different circumstances. You know, leveling your lawn, creating architectural design in the landscape, doing gravel driveways and things like that. I think it's really going to come into handy. So, or come in handy. I keep saying come into handy. Come into handy. But no, I think it's going to be really neat. Hank likes it. He's shaking his tail. He loves it. So I'm going to say it's a keeper, and I'm glad I bought it. And God bless. Thanks for watching. I hope this helps you in making a decision on Harley rake or speed rake or whatever you want to call it. And we'll catch you next time. Take care.